Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. I got a different kind of video today. 5 trades the Bears could pull off before the start of the 2020 NFL season, featuring 5 pretty well-known NFL players. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Yes, an offensive line trade is on the table here. Joe Thuney for the Patriots. He was tagged by New England before free agency got going. They're not actively looking to move him by any means, but as you guys know, the Patriots, whether they want to admit it or not, kind of entering a rebuilding phase here. So if they can get decent draft capital for Thuney, I think this is something that they would certainly entertain. And from Chicago's side of things, we all know that they need offensive line help, especially at that guard position. Now, his salary cap hit number is 14+ million as of now. So if the Bears were to trade for him, got to get him that long-term contract, lower that cap number, and possibly move a player or two as well to make it work in the salary cap. But you look at the Bears' offensive line, it's bad. We all know it's bad. The tackles did not play well last year. Daniels and Whitehair played okay, but need help at that right guard position, and Joe Thuney could play either guard spot, so you could plug him in at right guard or move Daniels to right guard and put Thuney at left guard, which is where he's been playing with the New England Patriots. He would come in and probably, and I don't even think it's probably, he would definitely come in and be your best offensive lineman and would certainly help right away. Do the Bears need to upgrade at offensive line? Type Y for yes or type H for hell yes. No is not an option. The Bears need help up front. We all know that. Taking 2 guys in the 7th round of the NFL draft isn't going to get it done. I think they need to make a move at offensive line. All right, so this is the trade idea I put together. Joe Thuney coming back to Chicago in return for a 2021 third-round pick and Cordarrelle Patterson, a player that New England is familiar with. He can play some running back, some special teams, some receiver for them. It clears out about $5-6 million of cap as well, so it kind of clears up a little bit of money for Thuney. You get that contract extension, and his cap number goes down as well. I mentioned you would have to move some money around, so how about sending Patterson back to New England in this trade? I think it's an interesting idea. All right, guys, I want you to get subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, go ahead and click the link down below, or go to the link down below, youtube.com/BearsNow. You could have watched this video yesterday on Chicago Bears Now because we posted it there first. You guys know what we're doing. Rumors, news, live Q&A, much, much more. We're trying to do videos every single day. More subscribers equals more videos, so go ahead and subscribe. Let's try and get 100 new subs on this video alone and reach our goal of 10K by June 15th. Second trade idea here, O.J. Howard. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, but Harrison, they drafted Cole Kmet. They brought in Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's old and may have value for 1, if not 2 seasons at most. Like, I think he'll be better than what you had last year, but he's not solving your problems long term. You pair O.J. Howard with Cole Kmet, you might have a long-term duo at tight end and feel really good about that position after feeling really bad about it last year when you had one of the worst groups in the NFL. I don't think just because you signed Jimmy Graham and drafted Cole Kmet with your first draft pick that you're immune to trading for a player like an O.J. Howard or another tight end. I think this will be serviceable for this year, but trading for O.J. Howard does 2 things. 1, it gets you better at the position. 2, it takes pressure off Kmet as a rookie. You have Jimmy Graham, you bring in Howard. Kmet can kind of work his way in, ease his way in as a rookie, and then in year 2, him and Howard are your two tight end duo moving forward, and you can cut Jimmy Graham after 2020 for only like a $1 million dead cap hit. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think O.J. Howard's a really good player, and I think the Bucs are very, very overloaded at tight end. You look at what O.J. Howard's done too. They didn't really utilize him last year. I think the Bears definitely would utilize him a whole lot more when you consider Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement. Cam Brate is still on the Bucs roster as well. All 3 of these guys can't have a major impact if they're all on the roster together. I think trading Howard or Brate makes sense if you're Tampa Bay, and you're going to get more in return for O.J. Howard. So I think that's probably the way I would go if I was Tampa. So I'm proposing this trade idea. O.J. Howard to Chicago for Tarik Cohen and a 2021 6th-round pick. Yeah, a 6th is low, but Tom Brady loves throwing to short, quick running backs. Tarik Cohen's really good at that role, and he is the type of back that Tom Brady has thrived with in recent years. So who do you guys think wins this trade? You think it's Chicago? You think it's Tampa Bay? Type C for Chicago, type T for Tampa Bay? I think it's a win-win. The Bears get better at tight end, and Tom Brady gets a ideal back he can throw to coming out of the backfield, and they're still good at tight end with Gronk and Cameron Brate. My third trade idea here, how about Rashad Penny? Okay, this one's a little bit different. This is a name that we haven't talked about at all, but I'm intrigued by what Seattle's doing at running back after they signed Carlos Hyde. Now, Rashad Penny's coming off ACL surgery. He may start the season on the PUP list, but outside of David Montgomery, your future at the position is a little bit murky, and for whatever reason, despite taking Penny in the first round a couple years ago, Chris Carson continues to get the bulk of the reps in Seattle. So they don't like Penny for whatever reason. He doesn't seem to be a big part of their future, and maybe you can buy low while he's still recovering from injury. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry last year. Like, he ran the ball well when he got reps in Seattle. Last year, he averaged 4.9 as a rookie. He's a good runner. Now, he doesn't offer you much, if anything, in the passing game, but you don't need that. You've got Montgomery, who's a good pass catcher. For this year, you've got Tarik Cohen. And what this does also is you don't feel pressure to bring back Cohen after this year. You can just let him walk and roll with Penny and Montgomery for the next couple of years, and you're good to go, and you can look at the running back position down the road. I think you can buy low for Rashad Penny. I think it's an interesting idea for the Chicago Bears. I'll be curious to see if Seattle shops one of their running backs after signing Carlos Hyde. All right, guys, I hope you're all staying very safe out there. You can stay safe in style if you want to get one of these Bears face coverings. Now, we've been getting a lot of these, so we're a little back-ordered here, but go ahead and jump on, get in line, and get one of these well before the 2020 season. Go to chatsports.com/BearsMask. If we're allowed to go to football games this year, pretty good chance you're going to have to wear a face covering, so why not rep the Bears when you are at Soldier Field? Go to chatsports.com/BearsMask. I'll put that link in the comments. I'll put it in the description. Make it easy for you guys. You can go ahead and get this 3-pack for just $25. So this is the trade idea I put together for Rashad Penny. Very simple, 6th-round pick for Penny. I think you could buy low potentially right now, and Seattle, quite frankly, might be willing to take a day 3 pick at this point for Rashad Penny. Can't give more than a 6th if I'm Chicago, but I would at least be curious about this idea because Chicago's future at running back after David Montgomery is a little bit in question. Let's talk about a Ryan Kerrigan trade idea as we go through 5 trade ideas here on today's episode of Chicago Bears. Now, look, he's kind of one of those guys that gets forgotten in NFL circles, but he's been very, very productive since he's been in the league. The problem is no one notices because the Redskins haven't been good. They're always playing at 1 o'clock Eastern time, so no one catches their games, and they're 3-13 every year. But Ryan Kerrigan is a productive player, and if you think about what Washington is doing, they drafted Chase Young this year, drafted Montez Sweat last year. Clearly, they're going young, not only on defense, but as an organization. And if you're Ryan Kerrigan, don't you want to try and go win somewhere? I think that makes sense for Washington if they can get value for him. He's entering the last year of his deal. Why not trade him? He's probably not going to re-sign long-term, and you can get him for less than $12 million on your cap hit if you're Chicago in 2020. Like I said, very productive. Last year wasn't as good, 5.5 sacks, but double-digit sacks the 3 years prior to that. He had over 7.5 sacks or more in every year of his career before last season. And he's played primarily as a 3-4 outside linebacker, which is the Bears scheme. So I think you plug him in. Look, you got Khalil Mack, you got Robert Quinn. But after that, it's a little muddy, like at the edge spot. You drafted Trevis Gibson if you're Chicago. You bring in Kerrigan to pair with Mack and Robert Quinn. That's a pretty good 3-headed monster to go and get after the quarterback with Akeem Hicks on that defensive line as well. I'm feeling pretty good about that if I'm Chicago. This is an insurance trade if you were to do this, and a productive one as well, because I think Kerrigan could come in and get you 6 to 8 sacks fairly easily. This is my idea, simple trade here. Kerrigan for a 3rd-round pick. I think that's about the value here. You get a productive player entering the last year of his deal for a day 3 pick, or a day 2 pick in the 3rd round. I think that makes sense. I think Washington would take this deal, quite frankly, and I think the Bears would upgrade at that edge position. Do the Bears have the best defense in the NFL? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I think it's definitely top 5. Is it the best? That's up for debate. I got to see what that cornerback 2 spot looks like with Jalen Johnson. We'll see how Tayshaun Gibson plays, but definitely think this defense will be elite. So 1 for yes or 2 for no. All right, I had to put Jamal Adams on here. I don't think it's very likely, but I put an idea out here for you guys. Obviously, the latest between Jets and Adams. Been at a standstill. He wants a long-term deal now. Jets want to wait. So that's kind of where they are right now. The Jets reportedly want a first and a third for Jamal Adams. I don't know if I'd give up that much, because if they're already floating out there what they want, I don't just reach their demands. I go another route. He would be fantastic next to Eddie Jackson. Probably the best safety duo in the NFL if he made that happen if you're Chicago. It's going to cost a lot, though, and I don't know if the Bears are in position to necessarily do this, but I wanted to put him on there. I'll ask you guys, how much would you give up for Jamal Adams in a trade? Would you give up a first and a third? Would you give up more? Would you give less? Be specific. Let me know down in the comments section how much you would give up for Jamal Adams in a trade. This secondary would be awesome if you got Jamal Adams. Gibson becomes your third safety there. Eddie Jackson at free. Adams at strong. You got Fuller at cornerback one. If Jalen Johnson's just passable, you're pretty good to go with Screen as your nickel back there. That would be a fantastic defense with what you have in your front seven as well. It would be fun. It would be exciting. I just don't know if the Bears are in position to trade for a safety. They have bigger needs elsewhere. I'm intrigued by the idea of it, and I'm definitely intrigued by how he would play on this defense. I just don't know if trading for Jamal Adams solves some other issues that you have, like offensive line, for example. But this is the trade I cooked up. Jamal Adams for, how about this, Deion Bush, a 2021 first and a 2021 fifth. So instead of a third, I drop to a fifth, and I give them a depth safety. I don't know if the Jets would do that, but I can't give up a first and a third when the Bears in recent years have not had a lot of premium picks due to that Khalil Mack trade. This is what I would propose if I was Chicago. Not sure the Jets would trade it, but would take it, but it would be fairly interesting.